Why do you need to throw so much of trash inside the coach, by the side of the track? When you have to run so many number of trains on a limited kind of infrastructure which you have, obviously there are going to be delays. Most of the accidents have taken place because safety has been compromised. Because sometimes there has been a great amount of wear and tear of the assets and they were not properly maintained. There were a few friends of mine who had this phenomenal collection of jokes. These are all borrowed pieces of humor. Some friend must have passed on this particular thing, and it had sort of a person who's not been associated with railways or in the government in any form. The only two people they are actually familiar with are the TTE and the station master. I don't mind telling you that, in terms of college life, you break campus rules, then you go for like late night shows, breaking the campus rules, and then you get caught, you get scolded, you get warned, and you bunk classes. Just like how you do in college. The training academies, even romance blossoms among like-minded people. The first lady IRAS officer also married her batchmate.
Okay.
Anna George Malhotra, who was from the 1951 batch, who was IAS Tamil Nadu cadre, she married R.N. Malhotra, who retired as the governor of Reserve Bank.
Hello and welcome to Indian Masterminds. I'm Muskan Kandilwal, and today we have the privilege to sit with Mr. Ananth Rupanagudi, a distinguished officer of the Indian Railway Accounts Service or IRAS. As a financial advisor at the Integral Coach Factory in Chennai, Mr. Rupanagudi brings over 27 years of dedicated service to the forefront, masterminding financial operations and overseeing tenders worth crores. He's a driving force behind transparency, leveraging digital platforms like IREPS, and has played a pivotal role in the production of iconic trains such as Vande Bharat. Beyond his monumental professional achievements, Mr. Rupanagudi is a fascinating individual, a passionate traveler, a dedicated history buff, and an insightful amateur railway historian. You might also know him from his popular Lunchtime Laughter social media posts, where he connects with humor, or for his captivating shares on India's rich cultural and railway heritage. A proud alumnus of Ferguson College, he is a vocal advocate for responsible travel and the ongoing process of Indian Railways. Join us now as he shares invaluable insights into his impactful role, remarkable journey, and inspiring vision for future of Indian Railways. So firstly, thank you so much, sir, for joining Indian Masterminds today.
Right, my pleasure.
What is the work day look like of an IRAS officer? क्या काम होता है एक IRAS officer का? क्योंकि generally people are not really aware of the work of a railway officer.
Exactly. I do understand because, for example, if I tell anyone, I am from the IRAS, it doesn't ring a bell in a sense that, okay, people who are interested in civil services may know there is a service called the Indian Railway Accounts Service. There was, in fact, now it is Indian Railway Management Service,
yes,
and then
IRMS.
you have an account, IRMS-A or something like that. But till 2019, we had this. And so people who are aware about civil services, they know.
Yeah.
But people who are there in the private sector who have grown up outside the sphere of the government, they hardly would know what is Indian Railway Accounts Service. I mean, even if you speak to a commoner, a person who's not been associated with railways or in the government in any form, the only two people they are actually familiar with are the TTE and the station master. Isn't it? पहले जो है बचपन में आप इन्हीं दो लोगों को देखे होंगे, है ना? एक स्टेशन मास्टर रहता है और एक टीटी रहता है जिनसे आप फेमिलियर हैं. तो अभी क्या हुआ, जैसे आई कैन जस्ट नरेट टू यू, there's a part of that, the humor part of it. One of my colleagues, he hails from a village near what is called Bayana district in Rajasthan. So his station is there in his village and all that. So he goes to his village to visit his relatives and all that. So after clearing the exam, he went to his village. So obviously, villages are a very closely knit community. Everyone knows each other.
Right.
And so the village elders, some of the village elders, when he was just passing by, they sort of called him and, struck a conversation and asked him कि भाई आजकल तुम क्या कर रहे हो, क्या नौकरी लगी है, सुना है कि भाई तुम्हारे पिताजी से सुना है कि भाई तुम्हारी बहुत अच्छी नौकरी लगी है. तो उसने बोला कि ताऊ जी हमारा जो है वो IRAS में नौकरी लगी है, रेलवे में. वो उनको समझे ना कि भाई IRAS क्या होता है ना, कौन सी सर्विस है, क्या करते हैं, कुछ नहीं समझ में आता है. तो वो सीधा बोले हैं कि भाई स्टेशन मास्टर से तो बड़ी नौकरी है. बोला हाँ स्टेशन मास्टर से बहुत बड़ी नौकरी है. तो वो बोलते हैं अच्छा देन तो आपका बहुत अच्छी नौकरी है. that's that's the limited understanding of people beyond. Like for example, I passed out from a boarding school, and all my batchmates are all, classmates are all well placed outside. Many of them are abroad, and some of them are here. But they are not completely familiar with this kind of
service
thing, right? System and all that. So when I meet them, when we have any kind of reunion and all that, they won't really understand the designation which I am in, or the importance of it, or what is the role and all that.
Right.
So I'll have to sort of, then again, like for example, now I'm doing this interview. A part of what I have told is to be explained to them as well. They only know that I am in Indian Railways and I am placed at a senior level. So to that extent, that's it. So this is the kind of a thing which is there, and to that extent, I must tell you, must confess that, like when we were, I was posted in Nagpur. My wife grew up in Nagpur. So, basically I'm from the United AP as such, and then we settled down in Hyderabad.
Okay.
But since I have never been in Hyderabad, I have been in the north for quite some time. So my Hindi is reasonably good, as good as my mother tongue. And my wife's Hindi is better than Telugu, what we speak at home. And so my wife had taken me to the house of one of her friends to just, to visit and introduce me and all that kind of thing. And so I was in the drawing room talking to the lady's husband, and they were inside. And there she asked, "Kya aapka husband ko shift duties rehta hai?" Which means that, that I am either a driver or a guard or something like that, whereby there are no fixed duty hours, and then I have to do this work in shifts and all that. So people have different interpretations of what we do in the railways.
Right.
And also it's a very closely knit, but an insulated kind of an organization. That's why. Like, for example, there is no very little public dealing as such. For example, in the IAS and IPS, people deal with, officers deal with people all the time. So people know, they have a greater visibility. Public, so once you are visible, then people know.
Right.
People know the service. But because अभी भी जो है, it's a UPSC civil services examination, but अभी भी लोग IAS exam ही बोलते हैं.
IAS, IPS इतना ही अभी भी
IAS exam ही बोलते हैं. पर तो वो, that is the kind of the perception which is built. And of course, what you must have interviewed a lot of IAS and IPS officers, and obviously they would have told you what the kind of challenges they face and all that. So that is how it is.
आपकी जर्नी कैसे रही है इंडियन रेलवेज में अभी तक, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 1997 जब आपने ये सर्विस किया था? कौन सा वो पहला मोमेंट था व्हेन यू फर्स्ट फॉल इन लव विद रेलवेज?
My obviously, railways has had a great role to play in everybody's life.
Right.
Whenever you wanted to go to one place to another, you would have obviously.
It's a lifeline.
It's a lifeline.
Yeah.
So, for example, I really like to enjoy traveling. I still enjoy traveling. So I have been to about 25 of the states, of the 28 states I've been. I have gone all over the place. I have, and I enjoy traveling. I enjoy the diversity in terms of languages, in terms of the food, in terms of the culture, in terms of the historical,
Yeah.
inheritance of each region. I am greatly interested basically in the cultural landscape of the country and the diversity of it.
Hmm.
So, what best way to explore it than being in the railways? I mean, in a
True.
sense that, see, for example, obviously, when you give the exam, you give it to get into the IAS, or I wasn't eligible for IPS because there is an issue with my color blindness and all that. But the other services, so IAS, foreign service, so these are the, the higher place services
Hmm.
in this particular thing. So, but the thing is that, considering my rank and considering my preference of services and all, IRAs, I was perfectly slotted for IRAs in terms of my preference and rank. So I had no regrets. And considering my educational qualifications as well, this is probably the best possible career I would have had. And so it was a bit of a dream come true, in a sense that maybe, yeah, I would have who wouldn't like to have been in the IAS? But now, looking at the services and the kind of pressures they face, the kind of places they get posted to. There is every service has a certain amount of trade-off.
Right.
And ultimately it depends upon what you want from life. Whether you want to be in the limelight, whether you want to do genuine kind of a service, or whether you want to have a good work-life balance, that kind of a thing. So if you want a good work-life balance where you will get adequate time away from your office, which gives you time to pursue your interests, to pursue your hobbies, and develop a more rounded personality as you grow through the service, I think IRS is very well placed. To that extent, I fully, I would probably consider myself fortunate that I am in this service. And I remember in 1997 when I got selected, then we have what is called a foundation course. So foundation, during my time, foundation course was done in 6 places.
6 places.
In six academies.
Okay.
So it's our last batch. We did the foundation course in Nagpur. At that time, the foundation courses were held in Mussoorie, in NPA, National Police Academy, in Railway Staff College, Vadodara, in NADT, Nagpur, and in Bhopal and Jaipur as well, in the State Academy Training Institutes. 6 places it were held. And basically, it was divided on people who were appearing for the exam again. You're allowed to appear once you have got your rank. If you want to improve your rank, you appear for the exam again. So, like for example, if you in Jaipur, Bhopal, and Hyderabad were allotted to those who were giving the exam again, and Nagpur Staff College and Mussoorie were given to people who have finished their attempts and don't want to give it again. So, like that, it was given out. So we were allotted Nagpur. All the IRS officers who had, completed and who had given their attempts, and we were Nagpur. In fact, I started early in the sense that I started appearing for the exam at the age of 21 itself.
Oh.
So by the time
you cleared I was 25,
I cleared the exam on my 4th. I initially cleared it in a 3rd attempt.
Okay.
So there I was allotted a Group B service called Central Secretariat Service.
Okay.
You posted as a gazetted section officer in the ministries.
Yeah.
So there I got time because the joining time was 1 year after the result.
Okay.
So I gave the exam again. And then I stood 236th in the list, All India list, and I was allotted Railway Account Service. And so in fact, I had joined the training period. what happened was I was supposed to join this in September 97.
Hmm.
September 97, I had to join at Nagpur. So I was not even told about it. In fact, when you get your result, you're not even based on if you're higher up in the ranks, it would be very clear which service you're getting.
Yeah.
But if you're somewhere in the middle, you don't have an idea of which service you'll be allotted.
Hmm.
So the results came in June, and in July I joined the earlier Group B service
Okay.
training institute,
Hmm.
which is called ISTM. It's in old JNU campus in Delhi. It's near Munirka. It's called the Institute of Secretariat Training and Management.
Okay.
So I joined the training there. I thought, why should I waste
Right.
those 2 months or 2.5 months sitting at home? So for 1.5 months, I did my training. And I remember that, in the foundation, in this training, as a part of a training, you have to also do what is called a village study. So you're supposed to go to a village and see how the people go about their lives, what is the
Right.
administrative system there, and the entire thing. So we were at that time as a part of the earlier Group B service. We went to this place called a small village on the highway, which is situated on the road from Dehradun to Badrinath. So it's in Chamoli district, and then I remember the town's name was Nagrasu. So you're supposed to also experience the life of the village, in the sense that you will not be provided, the guest houses, air-conditioned guest houses, or anything like that. You will be provided a small room in a village, so which will have the basic amenities. There may be power cuts. There may be, in the sense that it was that kind of a thing. It was a pretty, it's supposed to make you a little sturdy in terms of the kind of life you're supposed to be. You're supposed to see there in about 5-6 days, and then you are on a hill. So even if you had to go to the next village, you had to trek up maybe about half a kilometer, which is quite tough. I mean,
Right.
they do it pretty easily, but we from the plains find it very tough to keep up with the kind of a thing in the hills. So like that, and then on that particular thing, we went to Nagrasu, which is that block headquarters, and there I called up home, and then I came to know that I have been allotted IRAS.
IRAS.
So that's the letter which was received from the DOPT that I have been allotted IRAS. So I was happy, though I didn't know what IRAS actually has in store. But everyone is not aware, barring the IAS, IFS, elite services which are there. People really don't know much about what they have to, what is in store for them.
Right.
So I joined, and then we completed. Here in a part of foundation course is very good. It's actually, people should know that the foundation course as such is the academy. The academy is almost like an extension of your college life. So in a sense that there's not much of pressure on you to, as a part of the training, to study and to clear the exams and all that. So there are a lot of things. You basically socialize, you get to know your batchmates, you build friendships,
Right.
and then it's like a typical college life. I don't mind telling you that, in terms of college life, you break campus rules, then you go for late night shows, breaking the campus rules, and then you get caught, you get scolded, you get warned, and you bunk classes, just like how you do in college. And yes,
Everything happens in
everything
during
happens in
training as
academy.
well.
The training academies, even romance blossoms among like-minded people. That's why you see that there are a lot of bureaucrat couples.
Right.
I mean, in a sense that you can even see the fact that the first lady IRAS officer also married her batchmate.
Okay.
Anna George Malhotra, who was from the 1951 batch, who was IAS Tamil Nadu cadre, she married R.N. Malhotra, who retired as the governor of Reserve Bank. So she was actually Anna George Malhotra. So she was from Kerala. And so you will see a lot of people have married within the service,
Right.
and quite a few have married their own batchmates, and they have lived a full married life, and then and a lot of them are retired also.
Yes.
That it's as old as the 60s and 70s as well, and people married across communities, across states. So that's the relationship grows from the academy itself.
Right.
So that's the kind of socialization which takes place, and then of course after your foundation course, your professional training starts. That is a little more rigorous. That is a little more rigorous in terms of the kind of subjects you'll have to study. Basically, you have to be. People come from varied educational backgrounds. So there are some engineers, there are some science graduates, there are some humanities graduates and all that. So they have to be taught the fundamentals of, for example, we are in Indian Railway Account Service. So all the financial management, the basic of finance, accounts, and financial management, they have to be taught. So a lot of training which goes on. Ours at that time was done by what's called the National Institute of Financial Management in Faridabad. So that is now what is called the Arun Jaitley Institute of Financial Management now. So that we used to have a 10 months training period there.
10 months.
10 months. And 10 months in Faridabad. And then we go to our academy, which used to be at Baroda now. Now we don't have a single training academy as such. Centralized training academy is not there, because Baroda is now gone to the Gati Shakti Vidyalaya, which has come up there. So it's a full-fledged university now. And we don't have the Railway Staff College. It's a part of history now. Very people, I can tell you frankly that we were not happy with it, but that's the decision taken by the government, and we have to abide by this particular thing, because a single training academy gives you the place to interact with all other colleagues, your batchmates from other services, and so that's that would have been really ideal. But now we have departmental academies. So engineering is at Pune, civil engineers go to Pune, and mechanical engineers go to Jamalpur, electrical engineers go to Nasik, S&T, signal and telecom, and accounts, they come to Hyderabad, like that. And within civil services, if I say, then traffic service goes to Lucknow.
Yeah.
So we have all these departmental academies, but we don't have a single academy which trains all the officers together in one place. That's unfortunate, but that's the way the change takes place, within our system. So we accept the change, and then we move on. And so you get posted. I got posted around September. 2 years of training. So you have this foundation course for 4 months, and you have 10 months of departmental training at NIFM, and then you have further, railway-related departmental training for another 10 months in Baroda, which involves quite a bit of travel, because you will be attached to various railway units at different points of time, and you will have to go to their offices, learn the procedures, keep a training diary and all that. And then you get posted. I got posted in September 99, I remember. And that's when, for a person like me who was still single after the training period is over, then you feel completely lost, in the sense that, you lose all your friends. Your friends have been posted to different places. You're alone, and there's no mess to feed you. You have to find your way. So you have to either cook, or you have to find a decent hotel where you can have your meals. Then you have to, there may not be any transport facility to reach your office. So you're on your own. You're completely on your own. So it was initially you get you're in a state of shock, basically. And then gradually you settle down, and then you work your ways out. I found a hotel where, they used to have a monthly package of meals. So I sort of had there, and then I initially bought a television. Otherwise, you get bored. So I bought a TV. Then gradually, when I got a transit quarters, I bought a fridge. So that's how it is. And then maybe after a year or so, I got married, moved to Calcutta, then Nagpur, then it took me to Bilaspur. And Bilaspur is a place which I really enjoyed most. I stayed there for 7.5 years, from 2004 to 2011. As I said that I came to Bilaspur, then there for 7.5 years. Bilaspur was not very well connected with Hyderabad, but Bilaspur was a good small town. And what happens in these small towns is that our railway colonies become very well knit. There are hardly any distractions, hardly any urban distractions available. So your social life, as such, is confined to the colony. So you make good friends. In fact, so whom I call a close circle of friends, what we call family friends, are all from the friendships I built in Bilaspur. And professionally also very enriching. I was in Bilaspur division, which is the one of the richest divisions in terms of earnings, in terms of freight management, which is very good, and very good learning in terms of professionally and personally. When we made good, as I said, we made some good friends. My daughter grew up there. My daughter's earliest memories are from Bilaspur. Then I went to Pune on deputation with Defense Accounts Department. So that was another very good period, but it lasted only 2 years because I was recalled by Railways.
Okay.
My deputation was not extended. So it was another great, different kind of an experience dealing with the Indian Army. There again, I made some good friends over there. It was a very prestigious assignment, which is called Additional CDA Southern Command, Additional Controller of Defense Accounts Southern Command. And, I was financial advisor also to institutions like AFMC, College of Military Engineering, which are, very reputed institutes of the armed forces. AFMC, for example, is one of the most important institutions now. It's an important medical college as well now. So that was again there. I was there from 11 to 13, and then I moved to Bombay. Again, served a couple of postings there. And then on promotion, I came to Chennai here in 2017. So I've spent more than 8 years now in Chennai. The most probably I've spent in a single city. And more or less have become a citizen of Chennai. I'm registered as a voter here. And so it's a very good, they have a very good colony here, right in the heart of the city. Another good advantage of, career in railways, I mean, if people would like to see this, some kind of a motivation is that railway owns prime real estate in the heart of the cities everywhere. So wherever your colonies are, they're right in the heart of the city. Like, for example, in Delhi, you're in Delhi, right?
Yes.
Right, in Delhi, like, for example, one of the best colonies is in Panchkuya Road, right at the edge of CP, at Connaught Place, very close to the station. Then you have one on SP Marg, you have a colony in Chanakyapuri. So very good areas to stay. And the advantage is that railway colonies have exclusive, in the sense that you have railway officers, all the railway officers staying at one or two or maybe three places within the city. And each colony will have its own club, will have its own, places to get together. So the recreation opportunities are very good. Like, I was in Bombay for 3.5 years. We stayed in Badwar Park, Kulaba, which is beautiful, one of the best places to stay in Bombay, in Mumbai rather. And other people were, sort of envious of us because we were staying at a place which which was beautiful. And then, we had the Badwar Park Club. There was a swimming pool there. Then, my daughter also sort of, enjoyed the place. So it was very good. And even in Chennai, we are at a place called the Sterling Road, which is the main colony. It's at Nungambakam, right in the heart of the city. Good houses, flats we have, apartments we have here, and lot of greenery. I mean, one thing which one of our senior officers used to tell us when obviously when they used to come to give us what is called guest lectures in academies. Um, and generally, some people are down because they've not got into the IAS like they wanted, like they hoped to, or something like that. So they would like, for example, motivate us and they say, ki, one thing I remember is that railway colonies are very green. In fact, railways is one of the departments which has afforestation targets, and it has to plant a certain number of trees every year. And on top, for example, if you look at Sterling Road, one of the greenest areas of central Chennai, and very clean, well maintained, and green colonies you've got. And we were told at that time that the railway colonies will be at least 2 to 3 degrees cooler than the rest of the city because of the green cover which we have in our colony.
Right.
So that's one of the things, and the life has generally been good. I don't say that I might have missed out on some career opportunities here and there, but overall, past almost now what? I'm going to complete 28 years now in September.
Okay.
So it's 27 and a half. So 27 and a half years has been very good. It's been very good. It's given my family a good life, a comfortable life. It has helped me sort of, explore my hobbies of travel. One of my hobbies is, of course, being on social media.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the same thing. That we can see a great, sense of humor on Twitter.
Yeah. So it started off, for example, like with Facebook, actually.
Okay.
I think around 2008. Yeah, it was around 2008 that I first joined Facebook. And I joined Twitter, or X now as it is known now. Twitter was only I joined in 2009, but I started being active on it only in 2015-16.
So this sense of humor and lunchtime laughter started.
Yeah. But actually, what happened was at that time, Twitter had a great amount of character restrictions.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you couldn't fit in a joke in 180 or characters, whatever was the limit. 140 characters was the limit. So Facebook used to be the place where I started the lunchtime humor, and this was basically because there were some very good friends of mine. At that time we had these normal phones, not the smartphones.
Keypad wala.
So keypad wala. So keypad wala. So SMS. These are all those SMS jokes which used to be shared among friends.
Right.
So what happened was there were a few friends of mine who had this phenomenal collection of jokes. These are all borrowed pieces of humor. Some friend must have passed on this particular thing, and it had sort of, and then of course once WhatsApp came in, then the volume became even more. So WhatsApp I joined maybe around 2014, I think. Yeah, around 2014, 13, 14. So once WhatsApp came, the jokes collection increased in that sense. And generally what I thought, what I have found, for example, people may have various opinions about social media. For example, my wife doesn't have a very good opinion. She's not on social media because she sort of feels that the privacy is important. Yes, I understand privacy is important. But the thing is, it is based on a social media thing that a lot of people don't have, are not on social media. very good reasons of their own. But I found social media a place where I can connect with people,
Right.
and I can connect with people. For example, I have not trained with my batchmates from the IAS or the IPS or from other services because we did our foundation course at 6 different places, and we couldn't. So I found them on Facebook.
Hmm.
I sort of, I mean, a lot of friends whom I know and a lot of friends whom I converse with are all people whom I haven't physically met. And that's a blessing which social media gives you.
Right.
And how do you network? How do you network and how do you build friendships? It's by being a little more productive on social media. For example, people may find it very boring or a very I won't say, like for example, I share a lot of good morning messages which
Yes.
come,
Hmm.
है ना? तो वो गुड मॉर्निंग से शुरू होता है, तो लोग बोलते हैं यार गुड मॉर्निंग क्या बोलना है यार, क्या मैसेज डालते रहते हो ये वगैरह. बट यू नो द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग इज इट someone connects with you with on that particular thing.
Right.
Then I post various issues which concern us, and overall I found my, then you get a little bit of appreciation from people, and then it keeps you motivated to
You also
to
you also post so much about history. काफी कुछ
yeah I,
आपके ये सोशल आई वांट टू नो कि क्या सोर्स है आपके ये हिस्टोरिकल पोस्टिंग्स का.
yeah actually again internet and social media has got have got lot of information
True.
within that.
Hmm.
You just have to press the right button. I mean,
Hmm.
in the sense that see, I have been a student of history. I did my
Yeah.
graduation in history from
BA in
Ferguson
history. I
College.
saw it on your LinkedIn from Ferguson
Yes.
College.
Ferguson College, yes. And Ferguson College is also a place where it was very good for me. It was 3 years in Pune. And
Hmm.
Pune is a wonderful city, one of the most wonderful cities, especially for the youth when you're growing up, for the teenagers and those people who are in the early 20s. Pune is one of the best cities, very cosmopolitan, very
Hmm.
trending. People are very friendly city. People like Pune very much, in fact. So I graduated from there. I graduated in history. I have a great interest in history.
Hmm.
That is also sort of related to my hobby, which is travel. So wherever I go, I explore places with a from a historical perspective.
Okay.
And I'm very fortunate to be posted in the southern part of the country because I was in Southern Railway. I have traveled extensively in Tamil Nadu and
Hmm.
Kerala. I've been there. I've been to some of the oldest temples, some of the oldest institutions over here, and I also keep posting my travel experiences. Now I think it's become a little jaded, so now I post them off and on, and then. So I have this deep abiding interest in our own inheritance. You know, the
Hmm.
rich inheritance which we have is something which everyone should be proud of, and that basically adds to our concept of patriotism in the sense that why are you a patriotic Indian?
Right.
Not just because not just because of the army or not just because we are a strong country, our economy is strong, because of our civilization, because of our rich cultural inheritance, which is so diverse. I
Hmm.
mean, in the sense that the kind of diversity, which is cultural diversity, which is there, is can't be seen in any other country.
True.
And I think we should be proud of such diversity which is there. So for example, the temples of South are different from the temples in the North or the architecture of the West.
Hmm.
You know, the what is called the Nagara style or the Dravida style of architecture.
Hmm.
And each one has got a beauty of its own. And it's important that, I feel, my opinion is that everyone should know how rich our culture is and what are the components of this richness which we talk about
Hmm.
in terms of painting, in terms of architecture, in terms of art, in terms of sculpture, and in terms of food, in terms of the culinary diversity. I myself am a big foodie. I like everything. For example, when I When I went to Maharashtra, the bhakri and the other dishes which they make, excellent. Gujarat, you go, you enjoy the
Fafda
uh,
jalebi.
Afra jalebi and all that. Then you south, of course, is my own thing. You go to Bengal. Bengal has, in fact, people associate with a lot of non-vegetarian diet, but they've got excellent vegetarian cuisines.
Okay. Like
And sweets, of course.
sweets.
I have
Okay.
a great sweet tooth. So food is also one of my interests in the sense that one of my hobbies means I would say that, wherever I go, I
Hmm.
would like to taste the local cuisine. I don't like to take my own thing over there. So, like for example, when we went on a trip to Manali and all that places. So the Himachali kadhi, for example, is very good. The
Yeah.
kadhi which they make in Himachal is a different kind of a kadhi, which is very good.
Hmm.
So, and in Karnataka, you go, you have this ragi mudde, which is supposed to be, from the millets.
Okay.
Ragi millet
Huh.
is the thing which to make that ragi mudde, which is supposed to be very nutritious and have kind of a healthy food. So I have tasted the best thali, vegetarian thali, which I've had is from Kerala. And Kerala is also another state which has a lot of non-vegetarian
Yes.
component to
Yes.
the cuisine. But the vegetarian component is so diverse and so well made. And I found it to be one of the most one of the most tasty thalis you have
Veg
ever eaten.
thali.
Veg thali is like I'm a vegetarian, so to that extent, so it's and I post all this not just because to show that I have gone there or to tell that how far, how widely I am traveled and all that.
Hmm.
No. It's basically to for everyone to see the diversity in the kind of food which you have in different parts of the country, and I'm also a great because I have an interest in history. I am also some kind of you can say an amateur railway historian. Hmm.
Ah.
I post a lot of snippets
Right.
about
Indian Railways.
railway
Hmm.
history, what railways, how railways has developed
Hmm.
over the years. What are the unique things about how railways has developed? I mean, there are so many interesting things to talk about how railways has developed, and also about what changes are taking place in the railways. The new now sitting in a unit which manufactures the Vande Bharat
Vande Bharat. I
trains.
have so many questions to ask to you about Vande Bharat, Indian Railways, उनका infrastructure development, आगे और क्या
Uh,
future में होने वाला है.
बहुत कुछ होने वाला है मतलब इन सेंस कि एंड so I post about if you see my X account,
Hmm.
even if you see the pinned tweet, it's about the Vande Bharat
Vande
sleeper,
Bharat sleeper train. Yeah.
the first look. So uh, then and let me tell you that railways may have great number of faults. I mean, great number of deficiencies in service. I don't mind the kind of complaints which come. I think they're fully in their place to raise all their complaints, and obviously they should. There shouldn't be any deficiency in our services. But unfortunately, the system is so fast paced and the system is so widely spread, and it has its own inbuilt constraints. That obviously there would be a lot of deficiencies in the kind of services which we provide. So I myself, a rail enthusiast in that sense. I have grown to like railways, not just because I have a career in railways, but I genuinely like the kind of work which we do. The work, yes, which is not top class or which may not be up to the people's liking, but we are moving forward,
Hmm.
and so you will find me posting a lot of things about how citizens can help railways do
Grow.
better.
Hmm.
How to provide better services. For
Hmm.
example, why do you need to throw so much of trash inside the coach, by the side of the track? Uh, I try to encourage what is called responsible travel. For example, if you've taken your dinner, if you've taken packed dinner with you and you're dining on your berth, but your berth, you put linen on there is linen spread on the berth, then please carry a newspaper with you, a spare newspaper with you. Otherwise, आप खाएंगे तो वो तेल लग जाएगा लिनन पे, लिनन खराब हो जाएगा, फिर ठीक से धुलेगा नहीं, फिर आप फिर से कंप्लेंट करोगे कि ये ठीक से धुला नहीं है ना? So it's best that you do everything possible to make your travel more comfortable and help the railways in traveling, in providing you good things, I mean, good services. I agree there are a lot of complaints about food. There would be about linen, about food, about trains running late, cancellation of train services. What has happened is, Muskan, is that over the years, I mean, I won't say anything about the political side of it, but over the years, we have failed to develop railway infrastructure. Recently, of course, we are doing a great deal. I mean, over the last 10 years, we've done a great deal. Not to blame the governments which were there before that. For example, if population is growing, the travel needs are going to grow. So accordingly, you have to invest, you have to expand, you have to, wherever there's a single line, you have to lay double line. If the double line is getting saturated, then you have to work out to triple the line or quadruple the line if necessary. So what happens is that you should start increasing. At that time, you remember the budgets were about introduction of new trains. क्या कौन से नए ट्रेन अनाउंस करेंगे आज मंत्री जी करके. But the thing is, they used to announce it for the publicity and popular vote. But ultimately, when you have to run so many number of trains on a limited kind of infrastructure which you have, obviously there are going to be delays. Right. I mean, it's not like a road traffic जैसा. अब रोड में क्या है कि ट्रैफिक जैम हो जाता है ना, जैसे यहाँ पर भी ट्रैफिक जैम है. अब you have to keep a minimum distance between the trains, है ना. अगर एक ट्रेन जो है वो अगले स्टेशन से चली नहीं है तो आप यहाँ से छोड़ नहीं सकते हो ट्रेन को. So the whole system is getting saturated. And besides that, there will be some asset failures which will be there. Because again, the whole thing is that if you are going to run so many trains, then where is the time for maintenance? Where is the time for asset maintenance? Okay, we have now asset maintenance cannot be done when trains are running. Some amount of maintenance can be done, but you have to stop. You have to take what is called a traffic block. Okay, then trains won't run for maybe an hour or for 2 hours or sometimes even for 3 hours in that particular thing. And then the maintenance will be done. And all this maintenance is what? Is for the safe running of trains. If you don't get time for maintenance, safety may be compromised. And most of the accidents have taken place because safety has been compromised. Because sometimes there has been a great amount of wear and tear of the assets and they were not properly maintained. Why weren't they properly maintained? Because they didn't get time for maintenance. So the whole thing is a bit of a cycle. And how do we get out of this cycle? We have to expand. Now, how do we expand? Suppose now, for example, दूसरी लाइन से तीसरी लाइन डालना है, तो you have to build a third line. Now, third line, आपका रेलवे लैंड है ही नहीं वहां पे, तो whom do you approach? You have to approach the state government for land acquisition. Then land acquisition is another painful process. We don't have a smooth land acquisition law. And then land acquisition has to take place, then the consent of the owners has to be obtained, then there may be discontent on the kind of compensation which we pay, then it goes to court, then the legal process takes time. So the whole lot of things, it takes years to acquire land in the first place. पहले तो आप सैंक्शन कराओगे वर्क को,
हम्म,
है ना? सैंक्शन होने के बाद ही आप लैंड एक्वायर कर सकते हो। तो लैंड एक्वायर करने में ही आपको जब 2-3 साल लग जाते हैं,
राइट,
तो व्हेन विल यू कंप्लीट द वर्क? Everyone compares us to China. I mean, I also sometimes, I have posted this particular thing that in 1969, when we ran our first Rajdhani,
हम्म,
we were the second country in Asia after Japan to run trains in excess of 100 kilometers per hour.
ओके,
China was nowhere in the picture in
ओके,
1969. Okay? They were just industrializing at that time. And you see now, and what happened at that time, from what my senior officers have told, 1969 was a time of great political churn also. There was a socialist turn to the entire, the political spectrum became very socialist. And then high-speed travel was branded as elitist and not consistent with what is called a socialistic pattern of society which you wanted to establish. So all funds for high-speed research which was done was taken away, and then speed wasn't given that kind of importance. And so we didn't progress. Maybe if we had continued in that direction, we would be running high-speed trains just like how China is doing now. China has got 45,000 or 48,000 kilometers of high-speed line. और हम तो एक बनेगा वो भी 2 साल के बाद उस पर ट्रेन चलेंगे. Only in
What about bullet
2027.
trains?
क्या बुलेट ट्रेन? आई मीन 2027 पे हमारी पहली बुलेट ट्रेन चलेगी. अब देखिए कि किसी को भी दे फील देयर इज अ सेंस ऑफ डिसअपॉइंटमेंट और देयर इज अ सेंस ऑफ एंगर कि भाई चाइना इस स्थिति पे था 50 साल पहले, 55 years बैक, एंड नाउ यू सी वेयर इट इज. अच्छा, 1956 में चाओ एंड लाई आए थे आईसीएफ. हाँ, तो हमारी जो है, वी वर वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट कंट्रीज इन एशिया टू एस्टैब्लिश कोच मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैक्ट्रीज. तो आईसीएफ वाज कोच मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैक्ट्री. हम लोग अभी इवन नाउ वी बोस्ट एज आईसीएफ एज बीइंग द लार्जेस्ट कोच मैन्युफैक्चरर इन द वर्ल्ड.
यस.
तो 1955 में जब आईसीएफ खुली थी, 1956 में चाओ एंड लाई आए थे. उस समय जो चाइना के प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, उनका विजिटर्स बुक में अभी भी लिखा हुआ है कि हम बहुत खुश हैं यहाँ देख के कि भाई यू आर डूइंग सच गुड वर्क, एंड आई विश दैट चाइनीज इंजीनियर्स शुड कम एंड get trained here so that India and China can be the jewels of the Orient, as he called it, of Asia. मतलब हम लोग साथ में डेवलप करेंगे अगर चाइनीज इंजीनियर्स आके यहाँ ट्रेन करेंगे. और 60 साल बाद इंडिया वाज सेंडिंग इट्स इंजीनियर्स टू ट्रेन इन चाइना. You see how there has been a change of fortunes.
Right.
So all this is something which we need to look in introspect as to why we are still behind China and other European countries. Why aren't we? Though I think with Vande Bharat we've taken a step forward, but यहाँ रुकना नहीं है.
Right.
मतलब in a sense we have to work further, improve speeds. Now once you improve speeds, then obviously your punctuality gets better, but again speed has to be balanced with safety, so all the safety precautions need to be taken. Accidents need to be prevented, so there's a lot of work which needs to be done.
Right.
And this is an ongoing process. I think there has been a significant amount of improvement, but we have a very long way to go before we can really pride ourselves of being, in a very good system.
बहुत बार ये भी बात होती है कि इंडियन रेलवेज लॉस में है, ऑल्दो राइडरशिप बहुत है, लोग लाखों में ट्रैवल करते हैं रोज ही. इंडियन रेलवेज का, एज आई सेड अर्लियर, कि लाइफलाइन है वो इंडिया का. तो क्यों ऐसा है कि इंडियन रेलवेज अभी भी लॉस में है और कैसे वो प्रॉफिटेबल हो सकता है?
Actually, we wouldn't say it's at a loss. we say that the operating ratio is around 98.5, which means that for every 100 rupees we are earning, we are only spending 98.5,
Okay.
around 98.5, which is called the operating ratio. But yes, जो surplus मिला है, that is the surplus is used to invest, to invest in fresh assets, to invest in new lines, to build fresh coaches, to manufacture fresh coaches. There is no concept of profit and loss in government services. ठीक है, what we are actually collecting is the user charges. The fares, passenger fares, or what are user charges? Like you collect for supplying water, for supplying electricity, you collect whatever you're collecting. It's the kind of utility charges only we are collecting. And these are fixed. Obviously, there is a methodology in which this is tariffs are fixed. But on a personal opinion, I mean, my strictly personal opinion, and of course, government is the best to decide on the tariffs. But from 2004 to 2014, we didn't have any increase in tariffs.
Okay.
There's been no increase in the fares. Only in 2015, I think there was a small increase. And then, of course, what कोई सुपरफास्ट चार्जेस बढ़ा दिया तो तत्काल बढ़ा दिया, उस टाइप के we are only tweaking with the system, but the base fare hasn't increased much.
So that was IRAS Officer Ananth Rupanagudi, financial advisor at ICF, sharing his 27-year journey from managing crores in tenders to spreading lunchtime laughter and railway history online. His passion for Indian cultures and railway progress is truly inspiring. Thank you for watching Indian Masterminds and stay tuned for more such interviews.